Every time you pull into a gas station, you watch the numbers on the pump climb. You walk into a grocery store, pick up the same items as last month, and the total is higher. We usually attribute this to inflation, the idea that the economy is simply getting more expensive. But what if there's a system behind all of this? A chain reaction, quiet, invisible, but incredibly powerful. Because the truth is, this isn't random. This is a hidden tax. To see how this works, we have to start on the ground. Meet Sarah. She lives in Chicago and has a standard 20-mile daily commute. Last year, Sarah filled her tank for $40. Today, that same routine costs her $65. That is an extra $25 leaving her account every single time she pulls up to the pump. That $25 isn't just evaporating. It is the cost of a chain reaction triggered by distant global conflicts, a hidden tax that you never voted for, but are forced to pay to maintain your daily life. Sarah's money enters the global market. We follow it from Chicago to the Middle East. The path leads to the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway handling 20% of global energy supply. One location responsible for a fifth of global energy. When a conflict threatens this bottleneck, shipping companies immediately assess the danger. But maritime insurance firms react even faster. They have to price in the possibility that a ship and its cargo might be lost to a missile or a drone. This chart shows how insurance premiums respond to regional instability. Rates don't just increase, they multiply. We see costs surge 3 times, 5 times, and up to 7 times the baseline rate within days of a new threat. Because of these surging insurance costs, many ships simply stop sailing. Global supply tightens, and the price of oil rises to meet the risk. This mechanism is exactly what drives up the bill at Sarah's local gas station. This logic applies to almost everything we use. Consider a pair of sneakers manufactured in China, bound for a store in the United States. Global trade relies on a critical shortcut, the Suez Canal. It is the most efficient highway for moving physical goods from east to west. But when the canal becomes a danger zone, ships are forced to take a detour. They abandon the shortcut and sail thousands of extra miles around the southern tip of Africa. Transit times double from 20 to 40 days. Fuel consumption rises, schedules collapse, and ports become congested with backlogged cargo. By the time you buy those sneakers, the cost of that 40-day detour has been added to the price tag. You are paying for the logistical fallout of a conflict you might not even be following. Beyond physical goods, war changes how the world uses money. During a crisis, investors look for safety. They move their capital into tangible assets like gold, which don't rely on any single government or system. But the primary safe haven is the US dollar. Because oil and international trade are priced in dollars, global panic creates a massive surge in demand for the currency. This graphic shows the direct correlation. As the US dollar gains value due to this demand, it exerts downward pressure on other currencies. This shift makes basic imports more expensive for other nations and makes their national debt harder to manage. The financial pressure of global instability moves through the currency markets until it reaches individual bank accounts. There is also a form of conflict that doesn't rely on ships or pipelines, cyber warfare, targeting the digital infrastructure we use every day. Consider a timeline where digital systems go dark. On day 1, transaction errors appear. By day 2, bank transfers fail. By day 3, ATMs stop dispensing cash and payment cards are declined. Modern money only functions when there is collective trust in the digital system. If you are locked out of your account, the money technically exists, but it has lost its utility. Now consider what happens if physical conflicts escalate further. If crude oil reaches $200 a barrel, the cost of moving food and generating electricity increases sharply across the entire global supply chain. Poorer nations feel the impact first, as fuel and food become unaffordable. This leads to economic instability and increases migration, which eventually places pressure on the world's largest economies. You cannot control global geopolitics, but once you see that these price increases are the logical consequence of regional instability, you can begin to prepare. Understanding how this system works is the first step in protecting your own assets.